Hello, my name's Sean Spears. I'm Chief Executive of the Campaign to Protect Rural England, and I want to talk to you today about the Housing White Paper. The Housing White Paper, which came out in February, marks a great but partial success for CPRE's campaigning, made possible by the support of our thousands of supporters across the country. We really did fear that the White Paper was going to have a disastrous impact on the countryside, but through CPRE's normal combination of really strong evidence and imaginative campaigning and working with MPs and persuading ministers, we managed to have a great impact. The Housing Minister, Gavin Barwell, was kind enough to say that any honest appraisal of the White Paper will see the marks of your influence across it. And that includes a big emphasis on brownfield development, commitment to maintain greenbelt policy, but also a focus on what's actually stopping houses being built, which isn't the planning system, it's the nature of the housing market. And that's why the White Paper is called Fixing Britain's Broken Housing Market. So we're really pleased with the White Paper, but now there's a new consultation on housing targets for local authorities. What we've seen for years is undeliverable, unrealistic housing targets that don't result in more homes getting built, they just result in more greenfield land being released. And not surprisingly, the big house builders build out the greenfield sites, the most profitable sites, but they leave the brownfield sites within towns derelict. Our current appeal is for funds to produce really unimpeachable demographic research on housing need, to look at the impact that high and undeliverable housing targets have on the countryside, and also to having marshaled this evidence to run a really strong campaign with MPs, with the media, with ministers to marshal public opinion behind our policies. So we've had a great success with the White Paper. We now need one last push so that when the White Paper is translated into policy, the successes we have had so far are implemented, and we really need to influence this crucial consultation on housing targets for local authorities. So I really hope that we'll get great support for this appeal and that we'll be able to have an impact on housing policy for the next 20 years, which delivers the homes that people need and that the country needs, but does it in the right places, in the sustainable places, and protects as much as possible of our precious countryside. Thank you for your support.